Hi and welcome to my channel. I'm Lisa with Lisa Boone Designs and I'm excited to show you an entire transformation from an old hutch to an outstanding coffee bar.
I enlisted the help of my husband and we started taking off all of the hardware. And the reason that I asked for his help is because I wanted to put a light in the center of this hutch. And I wanted to take off all of the beams that were holding the doors, and that's something that only he could do. And it wasn't easy, so I'm glad I didn't attempt it. We finally, after several tries, were able to get the wood beams off of there so that we could have an open concept. And of course, there's my daughter acting like herself. Drama! And then I wanted to take that chair rail or whatever you call that off of the front as well, and that was extra special, so he had to take out his tools to do that, and I'm so grateful for his help. And then we had to even out all of the things that were chipped on there. And you can see why I didn't attempt to do this. Then, of course, we had to sand it all down because we needed to make sure that everything was nice and smooth and there weren't any splinters or any pieces of wood left. And we did that on the top as well. And then I took out my Durham's water putty. I love using that stuff. It's so rock hard. All you have to do is, it's powder. You mix it with water. You can mix it thicker or not as thick. I also use that for raised stenciling. Of course, they're my kids showing off again.
All of the products are in the description and can be found on my website, Lisa Boone Designs. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you will like, comment, and share. And please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Don't forget also to hit the notification bell so that you can be notified every time I upload a new video. If there's something that you would like to see in a future video, please comment below and let me know.
I started with letterpress gray, and I just applied a thin, kind of like a scratch coat, because even though I did a light sanding on this, it's a slick surface. And then on the bottom, I used black velvet. And I just went in every direction. I wasn't going for a smooth finish. And I wanted the bottom to be a little bit darker. That's all I knew. I didn't really have a serious game plan, but I just applied a thin coat over the entire piece, and then I used my blending brush to do that. And as you can see, it's not a good first coverage coat. Sometimes you can get that, but it really depends on what you're painting. And I always use my water mist sprayer for my second coats. And I'm just applying the darker color and blending. And when you wet your paint, it will look like it doesn't have a good coating. And you'll be able to see the wood. But as you can see, as it dries lighter, and it dries like a better coverage. But I just keep applying the paint, and I keep doing it in different directions, up and down, sideways, no rhyme or reason. It's a great way to also blend colors. That I decided to take a little bit of prairie gray just to add a little bit of interest on the front doors, and I just blended that in with the letterpress gray and the black velvet. And then I just applied a little bit more letterpress gray and just blended them in using my brush and my water.
The next video will be the transformation of this hutch. It's an awesome hutch that was painted black and then red and distressed to reveal the black. So I'm going to show you how I did that, and a hack on how I seal all of my highly pigmented pieces so that I can use less wax and also not dirty up my brush.
So now onto the top of the hutch. We had to sand down that Durham's water putty, and get a smooth finish on all of the shelves everywhere where we took off the wood. And then I started painting the inside in beadboard. I typically don't paint the insides of pieces, but because this was an open concept, I had to paint it inside. Now, I did use several coats, and I'm going to show you later on a technique that I do whenever I do a finish coat, especially when I'm using white. Now the back is not real wood, and I really didn't have to paint it because I knew that I was going to apply a paper back there, but just in case if somebody wanted to take it off, I went ahead and I painted it.
I took an old jar and I had a little bit of dried up paint in here, and the question is always like, how hard will DIY paint get? Well, this piece came out of it. It literally looks like porcelain. It's so smooth. Now, if it hasn't hardened this hard, you can actually reconstitute it. I don't know if you can here, but you can, this looks like porcelain. And it's so smooth. So if you're wanting to know how durable clay-based paints can get, this is how durable over time on its own. But you definitely want to seal your product. I mean, look, even this came off. Let's see, can I break it? This one is probably breakable because it's thinner and it was on the top of the jar. And so you might be able to reconstitute this part. So I'm putting a little bit of beadboard in here, and I'm gonna add water to it. I'm gonna put a little bit more, and then that's how I'm gonna finish this section. And also on the top, I'm gonna go ahead and thin the paint out so that I can get maximum coverage and use as little paint as possible to finish this up.
I purchased this peel and stick paper on Amazon. I have a video showing how I did this on another piece, but I put this on the back of the Hutch. It's super easy to put on there, and of course the pups are always by my side watching, making sure that I'm doing it right. And I have this cool little tool that just helps smooth it out. For my final coat and to touch up the spots that didn't paint very well, I always like to really water down my paint, and I put it in this jar and just applied it on smooth, and it just gives it a really great finish, and it spreads the paint over all of the spots, and it also helps to conserve paint because DIY paint is clay based and it could be watered down 10-1, and so I love to do that, especially on white finishes. And in this case I was going over a dark surface, so you will have to do 2 to 3 coats for sure. But like I said, my last coat, this is my third coat in this case, I watered it down and then really applied it smoothly over the entire inside of the piece on the bottom where I did not apply the paper. Now it's time for the details. I tried the idea of putting some white on the knobs on the hanging, and I ended up not liking it, but I did want some golden ticket in some specific places, so I used an artist brush to apply that, and I love that touch of gold on this piece. Now for the knobs, I like to do this because it helps to get all the places and it keeps it from messing up. So I stick it into a cardboard and then I'm able to give it a good paint job. 1, 2, 3. Voila! I love it. I love the way that it turned out. I did distress it in several places and I love the finish. I am so pleased with it. I feel like she's ultra chic and modern and vintage all at the same time. I did use a liner on that bottom shelf because it is intended to be a coffee hutch, and I thought that would help the white not to get stained. And I cut that using my X-Acto knife, and then on the top I left it just white. I love coordinating the stripes with the wallpaper pattern, and I think it came out super great. I'm so excited for this piece. When I staged it, it took my breath away. I just loved the way that she looked, and I feel like the pictures didn't even do her justice. And I did apply 2 hooks on the side where you could put your towel on there or hang whatever you wanted to hang on there. But I just love the little details. I think it's what makes it so extra special, and I just love her. And she sold immediately, and it's so cool because she sold to one of my friends, and I'm so happy that she's in her house making them very happy. I'm not gonna lie, I was sad to see her go. I kept her in my family room until she got picked up, and I would leave that light on, and it just created an awesome ambiance in the room. And so I know that she's doing the same thing for her new homeowners. What's your favorite part about this transformation? Would you do anything differently? Comment below and let me know. I would love to hear from you.
Thank you for watching this video. I appreciate your support and your kind words. Thank you for liking it and subscribing to my channel. If you want more videos on flipping furniture, how-tos on DIY paint, milk paint, decoupaging, and using iron orchid designs, you'll want to make sure that you subscribe. I look forward to sharing another video with you next week. Have an incredibly blessed day.